In this video, I want to talk to you about the big difference between Facebook ads, Google ads, and Zillow ads for your real estate lead gen. Hey guys, if you haven't met me yet, my name is Emmanuel. I am the founder of Square One Group, where really our mission is to help you identify your expertise and then help you scale your real estate business using systems. That said, I have nothing to sell you. I just make these videos to really help you bring in some new business. So when you do decide to scale, hopefully you keep us in mind because, hey, that's what we're really good at. Anyway, today I want to jam on with you about lead gen, but more specifically, Facebook ads versus Google ads versus Zillow ads, because depending on where you are in your business, one of these options may be better than the other. Now, I really want to start this video by telling you a quick story about two of our clients that we work with. Both of them have similar niches, which is essentially dealing with selling the property or liquidating the asset for a deceased loved one. Now, client number one, or agent number one, they were averaging about 3 to 5 transactions per year, and they really came to us because they were running ads. It was like hit and miss, mostly didn't work. They were saying everything was garbage leads. They were super duper frustrated. They were looking for a solution. Now, the other agent that came to us, or the other team that came to us, they were actually averaging about 40 to 50 transactions in the same year with the exact same niche. And they really came to us because they needed help installing systems to help them with two very specific goals. Number one, they wanted to get up to 80 transactions per year. And also, goal number two, they wanted to do this without having to invest more effort. Now, needless to say, we're able to help both of them, but I digress. That's not the point of this story. The point of this story, and the reason why I bring it up, is because there was a big difference between agent number one that was averaging 3 to 5 transactions a year, and agent number two that was averaging 40 to 50 transactions per year, and it has everything to do with online ads or advertising. Now, in order for me to help you better understand the big difference between the two, I'm gonna bring us back to the good old sales funnel, because that usually has a lot of the answers to a lot of the questions that we have. By the way, if you don't know what the sales funnel is, or you need a quick refresher, I'm gonna leave the link to a in-depth video that we did like up here, but I digress. One agent knew one very important insight and the other agent did not. So let's dive into the sales funnel and I'll explain it to you. Okay, so what agent 2 knew that agent 1 did not is that at each level or at each stage of the funnel, there's different levels of awareness. So for example, like if we have the client conversion happening down here, if this is the top of funnel, then the level of awareness is that they're only problem aware. Then at the middle of funnel, they are only solution aware. And then at the bottom of funnel, only service aware. Now, here's the thing. Many times, most agents expect the leads that they generate, despite the lead source, to usually be this type of lead here. But to their dismay and to their disappointment, they actually find out one of two things. Either when they get a lead at the bottom of the funnel, which is when they're usually just looking for someone to help them with the service, they're either very expensive or they're garbage. And I'm pretty sure you've heard a bunch of agents say, doing ads online are garbage, or maybe, you've said it yourself, but it's okay. Don't worry about it. We're gonna fix that problem now. All right, anyways, speaking of that bottom of funnel service aware agent, this was actually agent number 1. So agent number 1's strategy was to try to target executors of the estate, meaning like the family member that passed away already. They were trying to target the people that were in charge of that asset to try to liquidate it, not understanding or not really realizing, like, dude, your mom or dad or your parent or your loved one just passed away. They're gonna be pretty distraught. Now, the problem with this is when they're in this part of the funnel, where they're in this stage, there are way too many variables to be thrown into the mix. For example, if you're dealing with siblings, like who's gonna get what? Or what happens if there's no will, aka you gotta go into probate? Or if that's the case, then maybe you need to get an attorney involved. It gets really messy, because then, the attorney might recommend their agent instead of that agent, and so on and so forth. Anyways, the point of this is, granted the intent was higher at the bottom of the funnel, it also was a heck of a lot more expensive for that lead. And the reality is, the lower in the funnel, the more you have to pay. The higher you go, it actually is far cheaper. By the way, if this is proving to be useful so far, can you please hit that like button, the subscribe button, bell icon, you know that deal. Anyway, if you're trying to scale your real estate business with this type of lead here, you're gonna find it to be very, very difficult because at the end of the day, the cost per lead or the cost per acquisition is going to be very, very high. AKA, hint, hint, that's why Zillow leads cost so darn much. I mean, at the end of the day, it's because the reason is when they're higher on the intent, the more expensive they become. But I'm gonna get into talking into ads a little bit more in a second. Conversely, now I wanna talk about agent number 2. Now, agent number 2, they actually started their process of lead gen and marketing here, which is clearly higher in the funnel. Now, granted, the intent is a lot lower when you're higher in the funnel, but the strategy behind this is really, really simple. It's because the leads are cheaper, the higher that you go in the funnel. And essentially what their plan was, what their master plan was to get up to that many transactions per year, is that they wanted to capture that lead when the intent is lower, because they're going to be able to easily implant themselves as the solution before the bad thing happens. And in this case, they're essentially implanting themselves as the problem solvers to the children long before, the conversation about the end of life for the parents is going to happen. Or more specifically, they made sure that if a lead was not problem aware yet, they educated them on becoming problem aware. Or if they were already problem aware, they made them solution aware long before the finish line was coming for that loved one. The idea here was being first in mind in the decision-making process. Okay, so what the heck does this all mean? How does this all relate to Facebook ads, Google ads, and Zillow ads? Let's land the plane now. Let's put all this together now, shall we? Now, depending on what your strategy is, all of these platforms are really, really great at generating leads. They will work for you. You just need to understand what the strength of each platform is and align that with, number one, your budget, and number two, your time horizon. Now, this is exactly what I mean by that. Let's say on this x-axis we have time, and let's say on this y-axis we have cost. And then what we're gonna do here is we're gonna create a delta. We're gonna create a line going up and to the right, and this indicates sales, right? So if you're looking for transactions right now, you have to be accepting that you're going to end up having to pay a higher price for them, because simply put, they're just lower in the funnel, and when they're lower in the funnel, there is higher intent. But if you can actually increase your time horizon to maybe over here as opposed to over here, you actually will be able to scale a lot easier in the long run. Now, if we were to break down this little graph here by like top of funnel, middle, and bottom of funnel, this is essentially how it would look like. So this would be bottom of funnel, middle of funnel, top of funnel. Now here's the kicker. At each column or at each part of the funnel, all the different ad platforms actually align with where you want to be playing in or where your intent is to be running the business or running your business and really how much you want to be spending. So if we're looking at the bottom of funnel, you're going to be spending a lot because intent is higher. Now here's the thing. Each ad platform that I just mentioned, Zillow, Google, and Facebook, they actually align to the different parts of the funnel. So if I'm looking to get transactions now, leads now, at the end of the day, you're going to need to accept that you're going to be spending a lot of money. And one of the best platforms for solving the now problem is actually Zillow. But if you can delay the need for a transaction to maybe the middle of funnel, then one of the best platforms that really help with providing or getting people to understand your solution better is actually, for the middle of funnel, Google. So Google ads. And it's simply because typically when someone's searching on Google, they're already problem aware and they're searching for a solution. And of course, at the top of the funnel, we have Facebook. And this is really the secret sauce, if you can delay your next transaction for as long as possible. And that's simply because simply being higher on the funnel, you get a cheaper cost per lead and you get a cheaper cost per acquisition. It's really the secret sauce to building some consistency and predictability in terms of transactions. Hence the reason why, if you're trying to scale Zillow ads like down here, it's gonna cost you a heck of a lot of money, and that's why you're not getting very far in terms of sales transactions. But if you're trying to scale and you're able to play the long game, then being up here is actually worth your while, because you will definitely be seeing a lot more real estate transactions in the long run. All right, that's it. I know this was a boatload of information to take in, but if you have any questions on this stuff, we got a free Facebook group. Leave in the link in the description below. We talk all things lead gen for real estate. And if you enjoyed this video, check out this one here. Later.